Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez. I'm joined by Nate the Great, joined by the Con Man. Should have a great show for you guys today. Talk some NBA Finals, talk a little bit about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals as well. But no, last night we had Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and the Golden State Warriors closed out the series. Pretty much controlled most of that game, got down a little early in that first quarter, but didn't have that running that 23, like a 23-2 run, and was able to take control of the game after that. What was your thoughts on the game last night, Nate?
I keep doing this. I keep doing this with football. I keep doing this with baseball. I keep doing this with basketball. I need to stop. Stop chasing my pick before the game. Before heading in to this series, before heading into the series, I said Warriors in 6. But then I read a stat that teams that win Game 3 on a one-on-one when they're 1-1 heading into the in the finals. Usually win about 73% of the time. So I'm like, you know what? If Boston wins today, Boston's probably going to win this. Yeah, no, I need to stick with my prediction every single time. Football doesn't matter what. Football, basketball, doesn't matter what.
Yeah, I said Warriors in 6 from the beginning. And I stuck with even when they got 2-2. I said I'm sticking with my prediction, but I said I don't see the Warriors winning 3 games in a row. I see this probably going 7. The Warriors winning 7. But the Warriors surprised me. They won 3 games in a row. What did you think about last night's game, Mike?
Well, you know something, Chris, on your show. Well, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Nate the Great, because when this ASAP Network started beginning, Nate the Great was the man. And now the ASAP Network has grown leaps and bounds, and Nate's still with the ASAP Network, him and Freddie. So I want to give a big shout out to Nate the Great. He even invited me on his show one time, so I want to give you a shout out. As far as the game last night, Chris, we spoke on your show yesterday. We both had the Warriors winning. I picked the Warriors by 10, and then we also talked about the reasons why the Warriors would win and the reason why the Celtics would not win. We said, first of all, points in the paint. We said about turnovers. And then we also said the lack of a true point guard for the Celtics. And all those things came true. And the Warriors played out their mind. And we also said the bench play. The bench play played a big factor in the way the Warriors played. And the Celtics went to like a 7-8-man rotation, and they went very effective. And, you know, I give a big shout out for the Celtics, because no one expected them to be as at the level they ended up being. I think they don't have to head low. I think they're going to be very good in the future, as long as they keep their unit together. So I give shout out to the Boston Celtics, but the Warriors had the experience, and I just think it was Steph's destiny. I think he was ready for the limelight. He never got the MVP of the finals trophy. He got it. The Warriors played well. Wiggins redeemed himself because he was a first-round pick, and no one really expected much from him. They thought he was a bust. He came through. The bench came through. I think, the Celtics have a new coach, new system, new offense. I think that the Warriors had too much experience for them, and that's probably why if they won.
Yeah, I think the Celtics are actually probably we're a year or two ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how young their team is. You have a rookie head coach.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he's a heck of a coach, but he's going to be even better next year after he got this year of experience.
Yeah.
And making it to the finals was just like a bonus, really, because that's more experience that he got. What do you think went wrong for the Celtics? What could, other than mainly turnovers, is my main thing. Your two stars can't turn the ball, have the most turnovers in the playoffs, and Tatum and Brown had the most turnovers. They
had a total of 174, most in NBA history. Tatum had 100 turnovers, most in NBA history.
Yeah, you're not going to win a championship turning the ball over like that.
So what that leads me to believe is that, again, as I was talking about being a true point guard, in those circumstances, your true point guard would dictate how the offense is run. It seemed like the offense was run through Tatum or Brown. And I think that was a big effect because at the beginning of the game, if you notice, Chris and Nate, they went inside. Then when it started going good, if you know they had a big lead, then
whoever Curry was guarding, they were posting up and giving them the ball.
Exactly. But then they changed.
And they quit.
I don't know why they changed.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Also, the Celtics seem to be on the losing end whenever they have a very close game. The Celtics usually are on the losing end of those close games.
That's correct, Ray, because they're 29th out of 30 teams at crucial times at the end of the game. They're 29th out of 30 in the NBA this year, which proves to be they don't really win in the clutch.
What does it getting this fourth ring and getting a Finals MVP? What does this do for Steph Curry's legacy? Because you hear a lot of people. A lot of people are talking about. Well, he's never been a Finals MVP. You had to have Durant there to win the other championships. This was a championship where Steph carried the Warriors, especially through the first 4 games. He didn't have a great 5th game, but he had played great last night. So how do you think this affects his legacy, Nate?
To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised Steph doesn't have a Finals MVP. Until last night, if he did get one last night. I'm not sure if they announced this yet or not.
Yeah, he got it last night.
I'm surprised it took. I'm surprised it took. I'm surprised it took basically 4 years to get there. And it does actually say a lot. That's probably what the biggest storyline of these finals are. Whether or not he was going to get the Finals MVP or not. I'm kind of surprised he didn't until now.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, he's been kind of stigmatized because think about it. He won before KD. He won with KD. And then he won when KD was gone. If that don't give him his legacy that he deserves, I don't know what can. I mean, he proved that he can win with Durant or without. And that's been the stigma. Well, he had Durant. That's why he won. And as far as him getting the MVP of the final, they gave it to Iguodala in 2015. Iggy had a real big offensive game at the final game, I think, of that series. A lot of people think he should have won it then. But again, he's been stigmatized, and I think that stigma has gone away. I think he proved all doubters wrong. They always say he's never really good in the finals, especially like the last 2 or 3 games. He's not as effective. I think he proved us all wrong. I mean, look at his numbers. I mean, incredible. There's talk about him being in the top 10. Everybody's just making all kind of. At the end of the day, he's a 4-time champ, 2-time MVP, only one to win unanimous MVP regular season unanimously.
He's been scoring champion. He's been scoring champion.
There you go again. So, I mean, his legacy is there, and
especially at the 3-point, especially shooting threes.
Exactly.
And he changed he changed the way the game is played. I mean,
Absolutely.
to me, it's time for the media and everybody to quit just looking at Steph Curry as a shooter. Yes, he's a great shooter, but he's more than just a shooter.
Yes.
He can get to the rim. He can handle the ball. He's good at passing. But he's a good leader. He can carry a team. He proved that in these finals that he could carry a team being the main guy. Everybody just wants to look at him as a shooter, and I don't understand why he gets so much disrespect. He should be getting talked about being the best player in the world right now. When we talk about who's the best player in the NBA, we know nobody mentions Steph. Everybody talks about Giannis or Jokic. Steph Curry's name should be in that conversation.
None of you got.
He's not just a shooter, and he played pretty good defense in this finals.
Yes, and you know something, Chris, the guys you named, they don't have his resume.
No,
they don't have his resume. You know what I mean? So I mean, your point's very valid, and you know he started off the year like MVP his name was mentioned. Then he got hurt, and then you know. I think everybody else, you know, fell in love with everybody else, Luka and all them other players. But you know, at the end of the day, guess who has the ring? So I think
like
all those naysayers, I think all those naysayers, I think they're going to change their tune. But you know what's funny? I've been watching all these sports shows, and now all they're doing is talking about Steph. Where were they a couple months ago? Where were they? Now it's all Steph. Everything's Steph. You know what I mean? So I think he's in his glory right now. He has nothing to prove. He had nothing to prove if he didn't win the MVP. And, you know, he's on a great team, great culture, great coach. I think they're going to even be better. Like you said, Chris, this morning, they're going to be probably better next year. So, I mean, he's in a good situation. He's got 2 max contracts. He's made over $500 million. So, I mean, the guy's doing pretty well.
And I believe they'll be better next year because if you get a healthy Wiseman,
yes,
then you're going to have Klay Thompson in the second year off of surgery, and you're usually better at second year. It usually takes the first year to. So, and with that, and I'm sure they'll add some little pieces here and there.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be a tough out next year. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, they're probably going to make some changes for sure. Maybe not some big obvious ones, but they're going to add a couple of pieces for sure.
They're just going to tweak. What they're going to do, as I was saying in this morning show, a lot of times, and Nate, I know you're going to agree with me on this one, when a lot of teams win a Super Bowl or MLB or NBA championships, a lot of players are fighting to get that ring. Once they get that ring, they go for the money. A lot of players, you know how that goes. Yeah. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect the Warriors. Are they going to be able to keep their same unit together? Because those role players now, some of the contracts are up. What are they going to do? Are they going to want more money? Or are they going to be offering more money from other teams? They got their ring. Now they're going to want to get I'm not saying Golden State specifically, but what are they going to do? I'm anxious to see what the role players are going to do. We already got the big 3. They're going to stay. But what else are they going to do? Well, they got Wiseman, who's young. They got Kuminga, so they got them under the rookie contracts. But the other players around them.
Basically, Poole.
Watch out for Poole.
Want to get paid. Wiggins,
especially since he did to us.
That's going to be the big 2. I think Wiggins will stay there. I think Wiggins has found a spot where he's comfortable and most confident at. So yep, I think Wiggins will stay in Golden State. I really do.
I think he better. I think he should. He's comfortable. He doesn't have to be, because he's got blasted for being the number 1 pick and never lived up to his number 1 pick. And, they say he was a bust. And he's in a great situation right now. I guess a great culture. He doesn't have to be the number 1. And obviously, he came through all year. Matter of fact, started the All-Star game. He went from a bust, starting the All-Star game and being a major factor, probably the number 2 runner-up for the MVP of the finals. I don't think he's going to go anywhere at all.
Jordan Poole would be the one I'd be worried that might leave. But with some of the young players they have, I think, and of course, if they lose them, they're going to pick up somebody. So I think if you only lose one player, I think you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Because they, like you said, they got that Moody played some big minutes in the playoffs as a rookie. Kaminga's played some meaningful minutes in the playoffs. So a lot of them young players got some playoff experience this year that they didn't have.
And you know something? I don't mean to interrupt you guys. I think I was telling Chris yesterday. The fact that Pooh, you mentioned Pooh. Now he was a starter for most of the season, so him coming off the bench is not a big deal because he's been used to starting. He's been used to being on the starting team. Whereas the Celtics bench, it seemed like they weren't ready for the limelight. They weren't ready for the big show.
That was one mistake. That was one mistake I thought the Celtics coach made last night.
What's that?
In that third quarter when they were starting to make that comeback.
Yep.
And then at the start of and then he went away from that lineup. He should have stuck with that lineup that was providing you the offense a little bit longer, in my opinion.
You think so?
As soon as he switched back to the starters, the Warriors took right back off. And then another thing is, we're all talking about how Tatum didn't play well, didn't do this, but we're not giving the Warriors defense enough credit.
Oh,
the Warriors played some great defense last night. And even Steph Curry, I mean, he's undersized, but he was giving a maximum effort of staying in front of people and making it tough. So, I mean,
he's underrated because if you know what the Celtics were doing, there was trying to set picks up top. And Steph was fighting over the picks. I thought he played very good. I thought he played a hell of a defensive game. I think, you know, he'd been labeled that when he first came in the league, and sometimes you're stuck with a label, and it's hard to get rid of that label. But Steph, man, for a kid who came out of Davidson who had major ankle problems and wasn't even thought to be a viable NBA ball player because of his injuries, and to come back and being healthy, strong, and just be a phenomenal player, I think it's great for the NBA. And like you said, Chris, they may be better next year. Who knows?
And another thing you got to look at is how good Golden State is at developing their players.
That's the key.
That's why I think they're going to be a good team for a long time because they have a good system in developing players. Because I mean, if you look at all these championships, they won it with mostly homegrown talent. Durant came in and Wiggins came in.
Yes.
Other than that, it's all people that they drafted.
And the key about Wiggins, right? They got him after his rookie contract. So they basically got him for sharp money.
Yeah.
That's going to change, obviously, but they got him for sharp money. So, I mean, the Warriors,
I remember the media and everybody was laughing at Golden State for drafting Jordan Poole.
I know. Yeah, because he came from the G League. But, I got to give credit to the general manager because you remember the previous 2 years when Clay was hurt and the Warriors were miserable. They were like one of the worst teams ever. But they stuck with the same unit, the same three. They said, well, let's see when Clay comes back. Let's see how we're going to be.
Or most teams would have blew it up. Most teams would have blew it up.
Absolutely. Look at the Lakers. Look at all them young guys who they blew up, who are playing great elsewhere. If they had stuck to the game plan, I'm not going to say they'd be
Andre? Good. Andre says, Wardell, Stephen Curry is all I can say. He's the man. And then Mike, he has a question for you. How good do you think Kuminga can be?
Well, something? Again, here's where it's a difference because he didn't get that college experience. He came from the G League, which, has more of a pro NBA offensive set. I think he has a great potential. Here's the thing. Him and Green came out of the G League. Green went to Houston Rockets, who were terrible. So he got a lot of playing time. He got a lot learning experience. He got more playing time, whereas Kuminga didn't get that much playing time, but he's in a better system. So it depends upon how you look at it. But as far as his skill level, he's got great potential. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player. And what's good is they're not counting on him to be fantastic right away. So he got time to learn and grow. Whereas sometimes you push people in the fire, it kind of messes with your mind, messes with your confidence. But I think Kuminga, to answer this question, Kuminga is going to be a definite factor. And again, he's going to fit in slowly, and he's going to be very beneficial to the Warriors. And again, they got youth, they got experience, they got a great coach, they got structure, they got a culture. What a place to be able to grow as an individual. Again, coming from he went from high school to the G League. He didn't play college. So think about the young age. Him and Pooh are relatively young. So like I said, it depends upon how.
And then they have that Moses Moody that's pretty young too.
That's another one. That's another one. So if they keep that unit together, which I think they will, and like you said, how they develop, I think they're going to be fine. And I think Kuminga is going to be a great addition.
And Wiseman, they got a lot of young talent.
Now, before Wiseman got hurt, he was a phenomenal player. And then he also has size. He has size to Golden State.
Just repeating something that was said earlier, Warriors don't blow their roster up if it doesn't do well. They draft foreign talent and they develop those talent just like what the Atlanta Braves do in the Major League Baseball.
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah, that's why I think the Warriors are going to be around for a while as one of the top teams because of that, because of their player development. But another guy I don't think we're giving enough credit to is Steve Kerr. I've been seeing a lot of topics. Is Steve Kerr a top 5 coach? I think he's getting close. If he's not in your top 5, I think he has to be right outside it. I mean,
he's getting close.
He has 4 championships as a coach. And his record in the playoffs is just unreal. And the way he's been able to basically keep everybody's ego in check and everybody buy into the Warriors system, I think it's just been unbelievable. What you think about Steve Kerr? Would you have him as a top 5 coach after winning this 4th ring?
No, but I think he's going to get close. I think if he does get another win after that, I think he might be up there.
So you think he needs another championship to get in the top 5?
Just one more, at least a championship appearance.
Okay. Let's see. Andre. Oh, that's the same one.
He's a solid
Wiseman, futures are bright.
I don't really see it.
What'd you say?
I'm just reading the comment below that. Kerr is a very solid argument. I agree, but I don't see it right now.
Yeah, I need to go back and really look at it. But man, he's close. I mean, 4 championships in 8 seasons. And honestly, I think they would have had more if it wouldn't been for some injuries. So man, But I think that's something that gets lost. A lot of people don't talk about how good of a coach Kerr is because I think they just think he has so much talent on the team. But to be able to keep, when you have guys like Draymond, Thompson, and Curry, to be able to keep them all, their egos all kind of in check and all focused on the team like they are, I think that shows signs of a real good coach and a good leader.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike? Is Steve Kerr? Does this put Steve Kerr as a top 5 coach, getting his 4th ring as coach?
I'm keep it honestly with you guys. At first, I was kind of upset when Golden State fired Mike Jackson because he kind of set the groundwork.
Yep.
So I was like a little hesitant because Steve Kerr had no coaching experience. He was a TV analyst.
And then GM.
He was a executive for the Phoenix Suns. He was general manager. And I was wondering how's that going to work? You know what I mean? But, after watching and observing him, and then again, as I told you yesterday, Chris, the mentors that he's had Pop and Phil Jackson. So he learned from the management perspective as well as a coach, and of course his playing career.
I was gonna say, and he played with Jordan, so he got to learn how to play, how to interact with one of the greatest players. So then when you get somebody like a Curry and you get that kind of talent, he kind of knows how to handle it some because he played with Jordan.
Yes, and you know something too? What I think is beneficial, I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but you mentioned Jordan. I think there was I could be wrong, 7 or 8 years, Jordan played all 82 games. So Kerr, being part of that Bulls organization, he knows what it takes. And again, his experience, and he can relate to the players. The players love him. I mean, and the thing about it, he made very key, crucial adjustments. You know, I keep saying chess and checkers. As I said, Boston was playing checkers, and the Warriors were playing chess. He made substantial moves. When he took Green out, a lot of people said, "Wow, that's a big move."
Game
that
4?
was a major move.
Or game 5, I mean, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he took him out. Got a lot of heat for that, but it worked.
Yep.
Sat him down for 4 minutes. He came in. Look how good he played last night. Look how good he played in game 5. So to answer your question, is he top 5? You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. How many years they make the finals? Was 5 out of 8, 6 out of 8?
6 out of 8. Yeah, 6 out of 8.
Yeah.
Right.
6 out of 8. They missed last year. They missed 2 years ago. But
I mean, of course, you got to go. You know, you got to go with Red Auerbach. You got to go with. I still think Pop. I still think you got to go Phil Jackson. After that, I mean, yeah, I would definitely put him in the top 5. Yeah, definitely.
And I think they could add another one. He's going to add another. He could add another 2 or 3 championships to his resume.
Absolutely. And the key is, too, guys, the culture. Again, I don't know how much emphasis I can place on the culture. They know what they're getting into. And then you got those 3 individuals who know how to win.
To get everybody to buy in.
Right. They're going to keep everybody else in line.
To be able to get everybody to buy in is
exactly.
the thing that impresses me so much.
And that's very crucial. So, yeah, he's definitely top 5, I think.
Does the Warriors winning the championship last night? How does that affect KD's legacy?
Nate, you want to answer that one first?
Well, I think it kind of.
Let's go get mine.
I think KD kind of made a mistake leaving, and that's just the only thing I would say on that. Steph proved that he can win without KD, so I think KD made a mistake leaving Golden State. And building the team that KD wanted to basically where he's the real coach for the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I really don't like how he's leading that team. Is not really good leadership skills at all.
I agree.
So yeah, he made a mistake.
What do you think, Mike?
You know, I think when KD left Oklahoma City, first of all, if you all remember, they were ahead 3-1. They should have won the damn thing. You know what I mean? And then, KD and Westbrook, Westbrook or whatever you want to call them, they had, the little falling out, and that caused dissension. And KD was like, damn, I got an opportunity to win a ring. I'm going to do it. And he got the 2 rings. But then people would say, like, that's not your team. That's Steph's team. And I think that messed with his mind, messed with his head. And he said, well, I got to go do it on my own, which he really didn't because Kyrie and Harden. But I think he wanted to leave because he knew that was the legacy of the Golden State Warriors in the recent years has been Steph. You know what I mean? So he wanted to establish his own thing. And when's the last time Brooklyn Nets ever won a ring? So that's why I think he went there. But to answer your question, like I said, Steph won before him, he won with him, and he won after him. So that tells you how much of a factor that Steph has made, not only him, Clay, and Green. So you can't do it by yourself. I think KD, but see, when you reach that level, and KD, he loves being on Twitter and answering people back, and he has real big, loud ears, so he hears everything. So I think
he doesn't have thick skin at all.
Not at all. So I think that played a factor, because he hears everything. He watches every show. He hears everything. So I think he just felt that he wanted
if we
to
talk about him enough, he might comment on here.
That would be great. That would be great. But
Get on his Twitter.
But in his defense, he didn't know Kyrie was going to be Kyrie. He didn't know that. He didn't know that Harden was going to come in out of shape. So, given Kyrie at his best, Harden at his best, I think he felt that they had an opportunity to do something special. But Kyrie was lost in space or wherever he was. I don't know what country he was at, whatever. So that messed him up. Harden came out of shape. And I think he just wanted to set his own legacy. But I agree with Nate. He should have stood right there. At the end of the day, who cares? If they would have won 3 more championships, right? Who cares? At the end of the day, who really that? So he's gonna have 4 or 5 rings.
Yeah.
What does it really? Don't you play for a ring?
Yeah. If he would have stayed and they would have kept winning, people would have quit talking about that he went to Golden State. You know what I mean? Because then everybody's going to be talking about the Golden State dynasty.
Exactly.
If they won 5 in a row or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's, to me,
look at the Lakers. Right. Look at the Lakers when they had Magic, Worthy, Cooper, Jabbar, Byron Scott. Legacy. At the end of the day, you know something? You got the naysayers. Well, he had to go to LeBron had to go to Miami. LeBron had to go to the Lakers.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, how Steph Curry has won all of his championships with the same team.
The same team. But did it really mess LeBron's legacy? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, you look at it, guys. Curry made over $500 million. KD made over $500 million. So you got all the money in the world. So now you're playing for your pride and to win.
See, in my opinion, I don't think it really affects KD's legacy. I think it just puts in just reinforces the fact that he made the wrong decision.
Yes.
But other than that, I really don't think it affects his legacy, because you can't take away his rings that he got with Golden State. You can't take away that KD's one of the best players in the league. So I mean, to me, it don't affect his legacy, but it just enforces hey, dude, you should have stayed where you stayed there in Golden State, and you guys would be, I mean, they'd be almost unbeatable.
Exactly, and he did get 2 Finals MVPs. Think about that.
They would have had another only 9-loss season or something like that. I can't remember what the exact record was. 73
you're right. It was 73-9.
Yeah, maybe they would have had like multiple of those.
So I mean, to me, I don't think it affects his legacy. I do think Curry should be getting talked about as being one of the best players in the league right now, instead of just a shooter. That man drives me nuts. He gets so much hate, and I don't understand it. Why he gets so much hate for it.
I agree 100%.
Even by the other players in the league don't want to give him his respect. I don't know if it's because he's small or what, but it's like, dude, he might be small, but hey, this dude can ball, and he's underrated. He's an underrated finisher at the rim. If he can get to the rim and finish,
I think because he's a unique talent. And you figure guys who are 6'8" can dunk and jump and all, but he's 6'3", and to do what he does is I've never seen anything like. I've been following NBA now for over 40 years. I've never seen anything come close to that at all. I mean, he's just a very unique individual, and a lot of players can't do what he does. They really can't. I mean, he's a special individual. And you know what it's good too? He has no ego. You don't see him like LeBron or KD or Bach. He is very humble. He loves his faith. He's very religious. Great family. You ever hear nothing about him off the court? He's just a true professional, and he's well liked by the players anyway. I don't know about the media. Maybe they're jealous of him or whatever. But hey, that's my guy. I like him. He's a great player.
I'm a diehard Indiana Pacers fan, but I love watching Steph Curry play. I love watching Steph Curry play basketball just because I like the way he plays, and you never know where he's going to shoot the ball from.
You have no idea. It could be anywhere at any time.
He pulled that deep one up last night. I was like, he got the ball. Like, damn, he shot from there.
Right, and guys, think about this. How many players I don't care who, name anybody, that shoots from as far as he does. And let's say they missed their first 3 or 4 shots. What do you think is going to happen? One of two things. Either going to tell him
they're
go
going to
up
get pulled off the
or
court.
sit the bench.
Yep. That's the thing about Curry. He's gave them guys the freedom to do that. You know what I mean? Because that's not. It's really not a good shot. I mean, especially if you're on a fast break, it kills me. You'll be on they'll be on fast breaks and pull up for three. What are you doing?
Exactly. I was shaking my head. I'm like, yeah.
That's how much the game has changed. But I grew up watching the '90s. Man, it wasn't all about 3-point. It was physical. The guys beat each other up.
Absolutely. And so one thing I will say, when Mike Jackson was coaching in Golden State, Steph wasn't shooting like that. He wasn't given the freedom to do that. But Kerr coming in, hey, who was Kerr? One of the greatest shooters of all time as well. So he could relate to Curry, you know what I mean? And he gave him that green light. And then off to the races.
Where do you guys think the Celtics will be at next year? Do you think they'll be able to rebuild, pick up a few pieces and have a chance to get back to the finals?
I think they're going to try to get a point guard, maybe by draft or probably by free agency. But yeah, I think they might be able to get to the finals next year.
I think it's going to be interesting because I think the Nets, if they can get Kyrie Irving to buy in, I think they're going to be better. The Bucks, I think either they'll get Middleton back, or if they replace Middleton, I think they're going to be better. So I think it'll be interesting, but I think they'll be right there in the top 3 or 4 teams in the East next year.
We were talking about that this morning, Chris. I think the Celtics, as Nate said, they definitely need a point guard. I've been on record saying that Marcus Smart is really not a true point guard. And when you have your 2 best players being forwards having 174 turnovers, that tells me that the point guard is really
definitely need to get guys that can protect the ball.
Exactly. And then when you play 40 minutes, game 5, and get 4 assists, to me, that's a problem. And a lot of guys, if Tatum, the reason why he got in a lot of problems, and Brown, is they put the ball to the floor a little too much, which enables teams to double team. And then, again, like we said, if they went to the post in the beginning of the game, you can see where the double teams are coming. You can see where everything's going. But they get the ball on the wing and they want to penetrate and do this and do that.
Yeah, too much isolation ball.
Too much. I think that again, them, having a new coach, second year, I think they'll be more established. I think they're definitely going to be hungry. I guarantee they're going to come ready to play. They definitely need a point guard. I think they're going after Brogdon. I truly believe they're going after Brogdon. Whether or not it'd be possible, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you a big factor. And here's what I think could sway things a little bit. Bradley Beal. I don't know what he's doing. I know he wants to, do what's best for him and his family, but he wants to go to a contender, and he wants to go where he can live and take his family. So whether that be in the East Coast or the West Coast, I don't know. But that's going to be a big – if he goes to the East, I think he's going to go to Milwaukee. I have a funny feeling he's going to go to Milwaukee. I don't know for sure, but if he goes to Milwaukee, that's going to turn the tide a little bit. They're going to lose Middleton, but they got Portis. They got enough bench depth. I think it's good. Celtics don't have any major draft picks that they can draft from, unless they make some trades or make some major moves. They really don't have much they can do. So they either got to – now, what are you going to do with Smart? You're going to keep him at the point, even though he was Defensive Player of the Year? I personally think he should be at the 2. I don't think he should be at the point. But that's my belief. But if they get a true point guard, I think they'll be an experienced point guard. I think they'll be a lot more effective. And I think they have a good chance. But the East is going to be tough because if Ben Simmons can be anything like he was, he don't have to score. But he makes a major difference on defensive end, rebounding, transition, on the break. If he can do that, and if he can get him and KD and Kyrie get on the same page, they're going to be dangerous. But I think Boston, they're so young. I think they're going to, if they keep that unit together, they're going to be there. It's going to be a great NBA season. West Coast and East Coast.
Got the NBA draft next week. So,
Yep.
Then it'll be a little bit of break from the NBA for a while. Well, the summer league will be going on. They kicked that summer league off pretty quick after the draft.
Yes, they do.
But I don't think the draft is real deep this year, really. I mean, after after the top 10 to 15 picks, I don't think the talent is as deep as we've seen in some other drafts. What do you think, Nate?
Kind of like the quarterback position in the NFL last year. I agree with you. Top 10, 15. Yeah, I haven't really heard a lot of popular names that are going into the draft other than maybe I'm forgetting the dude's name from Gonzaga.
Chet Holmgren?
Yeah. Chet Holmgren, yeah. He's the only popular name that I heard is going into the NBA draft.
I know he's good. I've seen him play, but man, his build scares me going into the NBA. I think he's going to have to hit the weight room, put on some muscle and a little bit of weight for him to be effective. Really be effective in the NBA. What was that?
He's going to get shoved around on whatever team he's on, especially if he plays a team that's deep. Yeah.
You know, they well, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you what do you think about how deep this draft is, and then your thoughts on Chet Holmgren. Then I'll get my thoughts a little more on Holmgren.
All right. Well, you know, I've been watching Holmgren play since he was a sophomore. Thanks to ESPN, whatever. I was watching when he played on his AAU team. I watched him last year in high school, where he was very dominant. He ended up having a really good freshman year, but he took a beating, and him going into the NBA with all them big bruises in there, he's not going to be ready for it, and he's going to get banged up severely. I think to me he reminds me of a Porzingis. That's what he reminds me of. But Porzingis, I mean, has some talent. I think Holmgren can be good. The question is, what team is going to take that responsibility? Now, you could say Orlando because they're always in the bottom, so they got time. They don't need to win right away, so they could take a chance on Holmgren. But if you ask me, I think they're going to go with it. My man Jabari Smith, Orlando. I think they're going to take him. I think Holmgren will probably go in the first 3 picks. The guy from Duke, I forgot his name. You guys know his name?
Ranchero.
Yeah, Polo Montero.
And then
I watched him. He's good. He's probably the most pro ready because he has the experience. But don't be surprised if the NBA, because you know they got their scouting system, there's some European players out there. I think they're going to go more after the first 5 or 6 picks. They're going to go to the European League overseas, or they're going to go to the G League, because you got guys who played the G League this year in a pro-ready system.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of guys doing the one and done. So I think a lot of the coaches and the managers and the owners are going to look at player A, went from high school, but he went to go play in the G League, got that experience that he would not get even though he played college.
Yep.
So I think after the first 5, 6 picks, it's a crapshoot. There's not a whole lot of talent in this year's draft. I watch college ball a lot. You know, I love college ball, and I don't see them this year's draft being after 5, 6 picks. I watch for the G League and European players. That's what I think.
I think Holmgren will be good, but I think it's going to take a year or two. I think he needs to hit the weight room.
Yes.
Try to put on about 25 pounds of muscle. And then I think he would be real good in the NBA. But with his build right now, I just think he's going to get pushed around. It's just going to be I think it's going to be too physical for his build.
The upside is he's only 19.
Yeah.
So 19 years old.
He's younger than me. He's younger than me. I'm 20.
Right. And as you get older, your body develops naturally. You get bigger. So he's going to get bigger. How much bigger? I don't see him being a Kyle Malone, but I think he can put some weight on, get some more agility. But he can shoot the perimeter. He can put the ball to the floor. He's just going to have to get stronger.
Yep.
And whatever team does draft him, they're going to have to really put him through the rigors.
What's your thoughts on Keegan Murray from Iowa? 'Cause that's who I think the Indiana Pacers might draft at number 6. I think Murray has a lot of potential to be a really good NBA player.
He's very good, and I know you got your eyes on him, being from Indiana and stuff. So he's definitely one of the players that are going to be looked at. Man, he came out 23.5 points per game.
Yeah. I got to see him in person. I got to watch. I went to the Big Ten championship game. Me and my dad did this year, and we got to watch Iowa against Purdue. I got to see that Murray playing. Man, offensively, he's tough.
I didn't get to see him like you did, but here's the take. They say he's a true 4-man who can defend at a high level and space the floor as a shooter. So obviously he's a scorer, and he can play 4 positions. So hey. Now, what pick does Indiana have?
6.
Ooh.
I've seen a lot of projections having him going around 5 or 6. So I'm hoping he goes at 6.
I don't blame you, but you know something, guys? I'm looking at the mock draft right now, and I'm telling you, after 4 or 5, I don't even know half these people, man. I don't even know half of them, and I'm usually good about knowing a lot about the picks.
In that mock draft you're looking at, where do they have Murray going?
Maybe. Wait, I just had it. Hold on 1 second. They have Murray. Keegan Murray.
I know. What I'd seen was like right around 5, like between 4 to 6.
Keegan Murray. Hold on 1 second. Keegan Murray is. They got him.
The one I'm looking at,
they got him at round 1, pick number 7.
Number 7.
Same here.
Okay,
Projected 7. Portland.
Who do they have the Pacers taking?
They got 6. Pick number 6. Chris, you may not be too happy. Jeremy Sokan.
I've never heard of
you and I are looking at the same draft.
Points per game, 9.2. Rebounds per game, 6.4.
Where's he from?
Baylor.
Okay.
Here we go. From number 5 to the end of the lottery feels as unsettled as I can remember in recent memory. So while Sean at number 6 might feel rich, this could be absolutely his starting point. A true 1 to 5 defender, has an elite caliber weapon on that who was playmaking skills, though his shot and confidence, so both need to improve over time. And AJ Griffin, they're talking about Shannon Sharp. No, is it Shannon? Yeah, Shannon Sharp. I don't even know half these guys, and I'm very astute. The guy I'm anxious to see is the guy from Ohio State. I kind of like him, the center there. I think he may be a factor. And then you got to remember too, you got to watch out for New Orleans, because if the man comes back and they got McCollum, they got a good nucleus as well. New Orleans is going to be tough next year.
And Ingram's starting to show signs of being a star player.
Absolutely. So you got, if my man comes in shape, you got to lose weight. They've got him on some specific diet. If he can, lose some weight, get a dietitian, change his diet, maybe do some more agility, maybe take some yoga or something so he can stretch those muscles, because his hips and his knees, you put that much weight because he jumps so high, so all that pressure comes down whenever he hits the ground.
Oh yeah,
it's going to tear up his legs and his knees and hips, and that's a shame, because if he reminds me of a couple of guys who were centers who could not continue their career because of injury, because of either weight or just bad ankles, etc. We can go on and on. Bill Wallen, we can go on and on all of them guys. But yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move over and let's talk a little bit of hockey for a minute. Got the Stanley Cup. Got the Stanley Cup Finals going on. Avalanche are up 1-0 after a overtime game in Game 1. Game 2 tonight, or is it tomorrow night?
It's actually today's Friday, so it's tomorrow.
Yeah, Saturday. Man, I hate the way they take so many days off during the playoffs.
Both leagues do that. Not just the NHL, it's the NBA too.
yeah, NBA too. I don't
NBA
understand
is
it.
worse actually. Now I think about it.
Yeah, but you know what's good about it is they play tomorrow, then they play Wednesday, and then they play.
I picked the Avalanche to win the series from the get go.
Same
Don't get me
here.
wrong, Lightning are a good team. They're defending champions on that. I just think the Avalanche's speed and the offense they have is just going to be a little too much for the Lightning. Nate, I know you're have a lot of interest in this series. What do you think about it?
So I have one thing to say for the Avalanche and one thing to say for the Lightning. Starting off the Lightning first. By the end of the second period, because I actually didn't get a chance to watch the third period and the extra overtime stuff. But by the end of the second period, the Lightning have had a power play 141 times throughout this entire season.
Wow.
They've only scored. They had a power play advantage 141 times. They've only scored on 14.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Wow.
They've only scored on 14. Their power play system, whatever's going on, it doesn't work. But I also don't like that Colorado in the second period was not aggressive at all. They allowed not one but two goals from the Lightning in 48 seconds.
Why do you think that is?
They weren't as aggressive. They weren't shoving people and forcing the turnovers, stuff like that. They were not in the second period at all. They did make some shoves, but not as many as the first period.
So how many games do you think it's going to go?
7.
Really? Ooh.
But I will say one thing. Colorado has not lost an away game in playoffs so far. So if they win tomorrow, yeah, I'm not going to change my pick because of all the history and stuff.
Right.
But I would be worried if I were the Lightning.
I think you're right. So even though it's early, but I know you know hockey probably more than anybody that I know, who would be your projected MVP of the final?
Maybe
I know it's tough. It's only game one. I know, but who would your projected pick be?
Maybe Nathan McKinnon, but I really also like Kyle McCarr.
I heard his name mentioned. Are there any big surprises that you've seen so far? Even though it's only game one. Since game one, have you seen any changes? Any surprises?
I mean, no, not really. Colorado has a lot more. Actually, there is one thing.
How long you give?
And that's Colorado made more shots on goal than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay does do a lot of striking first and all that kind of stuff. But in the regular season, when these two teams played twice, Colorado destroyed Tampa both times.
Yep.
Now, heading into the playoffs, heading to the Stanley Cup, it was overtime, so it was closer because, this is familiar territory for Lightning. So it wasn't really too much of a surprise, but, Colorado, they won, but I didn't expect, I probably didn't expect them to come back the way they did in the second period. I guess that was really my only surprise.
You're not surprised that it went to overtime?
No, not really. But the 48 seconds, I guess that's the only surprise for me from Lightning.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
Who do you think's going to win the series, Nate?
Colorado, but I think it's going to take 7 games.
That's what I said. I said the series would go 7 games, but I had the Avalanche in 7. I'll be honest, I'm not a real big diehard hockey fan.
I'm not either, but Nate is.
I just actually started really watching it more this year, a little bit last year. I love going like live hockey games. We don't have a pro team here in Indiana, but we do have a minor league team in Indianapolis, and we'll go. I went down there a couple times with my dad, and I love going and watching it live. I've just always had a little bit of trouble getting into it on TV.
Yeah.
But I've watched a lot of the playoffs this year, and the playoffs this year have been real good, in my opinion. Nate, I know you're a big fan of hockey. How does this year's playoffs compare to other playoff years?
So I've been a fan since 2017, and I really, I know this might seem like a biased answer, because I'm a big fan of one of the teams that's playing. But I really, I think this has been the closest Stanley Cup that has been played for a game one, like since all the years that I've been following the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
But heading into the Stanley Cup, I feel like other than the 1 year where there were so many in the Eastern Conference of 4-0 sweeps, I feel like there was a lot. It definitely was not close heading into the Stanley Cup. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of the because then they have this year there was the most blowout wins in the NHL playoffs, kind of like how in the NBA had the most blowout wins, because it was kind of weird that both leagues was having that happen at the same time.
Yeah, Colorado swept the Oilers and the Nashville Predators, and then Tampa Bay Lightning swept the Florida Panthers.
Hey, Nate, I have a real important question I want to ask you. It just baffles me. Now, the NFL have a roster of, 53, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a Major League Baseball roster? How many players in the Major League Baseball roster? It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get a general idea. How much do they usually carry? All right, well, here's my point. Now, basketball, they carry 15. How many does NHL hockey carry? There's a method to my madness, guys. How many players do they carry?
I'm not sure in hockey.
I'm not sure in hockey either.
Okay, well, here's my point. You have, I'll just give you an example. You got this guy named Watson, who has a guaranteed contract for $230 million. You got Mahomes making $50 million. You got Aaron Rodgers making $15 million. You got baseball. You know how much money they make. NBA, you know how there's like 10 guys making over almost close to 200 max contracts. How come hockey contracts? I mean, when they sign someone for $8 million a year, that's like the biggest thing ever. Can you explain to me why NHL contracts are so low compared to other sports? I really would like to know.
Real quick, in NHL active roster, they carry 23 players. They're allowed to have a maximum of 50 players on contract, but only 23 can be on the active roster.
Okay, good. Okay.
My dad said he thinks baseball is. My dad said baseball, I think 25 is what they carry on their active.
I think your dad's probably correct.
So to answer your question, I feel like the NHL is more like how the Tampa Bay Bucks have been doing it for the past couple of years. The Bucks are they really don't have a lot of players. You know, Tom Brady signed a contract, but then gets pay cuts and pay cuts and pay cuts, just so that they could build around pieces for Tom Brady. I don't really see anybody from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that signed big contracts at all, the last couple of years. So, given that comparison, NHL, Nathan McKinnon took a pay cut over the last offseason so they could build around other pieces. So, I think it's more of who can build the best roster than who has the highest paycheck. I guess that's what really NHL is focusing on.
Okay, now let me hit you with this one. If I'm correct, Major League Baseball has TV contracts.
Yeah.
You know the NBA does. NHL does. So what I'm saying is, do you think the players in the NHL are getting shortchanged?
I'm not sure.
That's
that.
a good answer. Hey, that's honest.
Well,
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Honestly, I think the NHL is at a point where they're starting to get more popular, and you're actually this was like I think the first time you're seeing them start to get bigger TV contract because they were
True.
on like the NBC Sports or whatever.
Right.
Now they moved it. Now they moved to ESPN where
Right.
They
Right.
still play a couple of games on NBC, but not a lot.
but
That's
now
true.
a lot
That's
more people can see the games because a lot of people don't get that NBC Sports.
Yeah.
Right.
So being on ESPN and on ABC,
Yeah.
I think that has really helped hockey because it's getting more eyeballs on it.
Correct.
Mhm.
I agree. I agree.
And my dad said MLB is a 40 team roster and you can have 25 active.
Your father knows his stuff, huh?
Oh yeah, he knows sports, but he really knows pro wrestling. That
Okay.
yeah. See, with the game, he said the hockey games have been on ABC. So with the hockey games being on ABC, I mean, almost everybody can get ABC.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
more
Yeah.
eyeballs that gets that product out there. So I think you're going to see maybe bigger TV contracts come maybe in the next 3 or 4 years for the NHL because I think if as long as the ratings are there, you know what I mean, then they get bigger TV contracts, then maybe you'll see players start making more. Which
Yep.
Nate, you know
I-
how much does one of the like star players in the NHL make?
That'll be on Nate, not me.
Would
I don't
you
know.
know?
I don't think anybody makes more than 10 a year. I know that. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I would probably say 10, maybe 12, but that's really about it.
You know, because I was just thinking,
Connor
The
it says that
NBA
Connor McDavid is the highest paid player at 16 million.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Ooh. I would say a lot of NBA I know about, very well. Like the veterans minimum is like almost to what the best hockey players make. Generally speaking, not always. I just know all the effort and the hockey players, all the punishment they take.
Yeah, I knew Connor McDavid was. I didn't know how much Connor McDavid was making, but I knew that he was the highest paid.
It
Wow.
says he has 16 million, a salary of 16 million. He's the
Wow.
highest paid.
Yeah, and you look at Mike Trout's contract. He signed the deal, so it's 12 years for $426.5 million.
Whoa! I didn't know that. I say now you got me. I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh yeah, baseball contracts are unreal, man. You'll sign for 300-400 million for 10 years and stuff. It's like,
And it's guaranteed too.
yeah, a lot of it is. And my dad said about hockey that Turner paid a lot for hockey this year. So did ESPN.
He's right. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. These TV networks are starting to pay more for it. So now I think that should eventually player salaries should go up.
You would hope so. I mean, the punishment that these hockey players, I mean, it's brutal. I don't know. I just think there should be more parity. That's all. That's all I'm
So
saying.
Yeah,
who you having game 2 tomorrow night, Nate?
I have the Lightning taking this one. I kind of have to because I have the Lightning taking this one because if Colorado takes this one, I'm not going to change my pick, but I don't see it going in 7 games.
What was your pick when the series started?
Colorado in 7.
Okay, yeah, that's why I have Colorado in 7. I was gonna say you can't go against your team.
Yeah, I
No,
can
you
go
can't.
with the team. But I don't see it going in 7 games if Colorado wins game 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But
Yeah,
Tampa Bay got down 2-0 the last series to the Rangers. It was able to.
that is true. That is true. But like I said earlier, Colorado has never this playoff series. They have not lost in an away game.
Well, yeah. I think Avalanche are going to win them. But I mean, the Lightning will put up a fight. Plus, the Avalanche are a better team than the Rangers as well. So
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot
they
harder.
have much more depth than the Rangers.
It's going to be a lot harder for the Tampa Bay to come back from 2-0 on the Avalanche than what it would have been with the Rangers.
Now, you guys, I respect your opinion way more than mine. But Chris, you have the betting show. What's the odds? What's going on with that?
On NHL,
Yep.
I haven't even looked at the NHL today because there ain't no games today. They play tomorrow.
I just want I'm gonna pick your brain because I don't know. I have no clue. Whatever I pick, go the opposite.
Speaking of that, my sports betting show, my picks yesterday went 7-1 overall, and my best bets that I gave out went 4-0 for yesterday. And last week I was 26-12 overall, and my best picks went 14-3 for the week. So I've been real hot on Major League Baseball the last 2 weeks.
I'm gonna have to check your show out more often.
And I make predictions, but I don't really make bets.
Well, it's basically predictions because I bet a little bit, but I don't have the money to bet a lot. So I don't bet very often, but I love making the predictions and seeing how I do.
Same.
So that's why I do that show. And it's starting to grow. More people are starting to watch it. But my dad said 4 million people watched.
Yeah, I'm just reading that. Wow.
The game one of the hockey.
And that's on ABC. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Also, another quick stat to throw at you. Denver had in all 4 major sports, the highest paid seat ticket was this last Monday, which was about $3,000 a ticket, or it might be even towards the millions.
And then one more thing about the sports betting show real quick, because Mike brought it up. Today at 3 p.m. we'll be alive, and Pride will be joining me, and we're going to be doing a UFC preview and prediction for the UFC fight night this week. Last week's UFC, me and I went 7-4, and Pride went 6-5. So we both got more than we got right than we're wrong, but I think we'll do better this weekend. But so if you're a UFC fan, at 3 p.m. we'll be doing preview and prediction show. Tune in. A lot of people tuned in last week. It was a good time. It's always a good time talking to Pride as well. So
always.
It'll be a good show. And my dad has the Avalanche in 5.
You know something? I'm gonna go with your dad. I'm going with your dad. I'm going with him.
I know he watches a lot of the hockey because if pro wrestling isn't on, he probably watches more hockey than he does NBA. He watches the Reds a lot, but he don't get in the NBA as much as he does. He really likes the hockey and horse racing. He do horseback with you any day. Well, before we get to the final thoughts, or actually, let's get to the final thoughts. So, you got any final thoughts, Nate? Before we get out of here?
Yeah. Actually, I looked at going back to what I said earlier. The average paid ticket for the Colorado Avalanche and Tampa Bay Lightning that cost $1,061.
Man,
$1,061. You can get a baseball ticket for cheaper than that.
Oh yeah, that's the average ticket.
Yeah, $1,061.
See, that's the only thing I think these leagues do is the tickets get too overpriced for your common fan. They get where your diehard fans can't come because they can't afford to. Like Super Bowl. Super Bowl's turned into an event that it's just for rich people and business people. It's hard for just a normal person like us to go to a Super Bowl because cheapest ticket was like $5,000 or something. I spent $5,000 on a Super Bowl ticket. I'm gonna be kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't understand how people can pay $1,000 for tickets. I mean, I paid some money for tickets, but I've never paid no like $1,000. Hell, I think it's high when I got paid $100 for a ticket.
And you know something, guys? You just said paying money for a ticket. How about the true fans that go? How many games in hockey a year? 80? 82? How many games in hockey? I don't know. I know there's 82 in basketball. I know there's 162 in baseball. I know there's 17 in football.
And we used to have
guys go to every damn game. How the hell can they afford to go to every damn game?
And we used to have we had season tickets for the Colts back in 1999 or 2000. And yeah, you pay for your season ticket, but then that's not counting the money you spend every Sunday when you go there. Parking, concessions. If you take a kid with you, souvenirs. I mean, you're talking another $100 to $200 just going to the game.
That's why you don't park at the stadium.
Oh yeah, I usually don't park at the stadium either, but
It's great. I don't know how. I don't know. I guess that's why fans feel they can yell and scream and holler and cuss because they paid all that money.
well,
So I guess they have a right.
I know 3 years ago my son bought me and my dad tickets to go watch the Indianapolis Colts. They played the Atlanta Falcons, and he bought us seats. We were like on the 40-yard line, and we were only like 7 or 8 rows up. And he bought 3 tickets for me, him, and my dad to go. Best tickets I ever had, but now he spoiled me because now I don't want to go unless I have a good ticket. And he paid and he paid like I think he paid like $160 a ticket. And I'm like, dude, that's too much. But
yeah.
now, because I usually go, I'd buy it, the cheap ticket, go sit up top. But now he got me spoiled, sitting down there low. I'm like, well, I like this.
Now, Chris, I have to ask you a question because you keep talking about Indianapolis. So I got to hit you with a question. This morning, they had on one of the shows, they were talking about the top 5 players in the NFL. One individual, I won't say his name, had Jonathan Taylor as number 4. What do you think?
I think that's a good spot for him.
Really?
Wait a minute. Did you say top 5 running backs?
No.
Or players?
Players.
I think he's probably, man, I really can't argue that because I think Jonathan Taylor might be the best back in the league. You could put Derrick Henry him and Derrick Henry right up there together.
I think he's gonna be number 2 or 3 this year. There's one guy in particular that I think he's gonna get a lot. He's gonna get a lot of touches, get a lot of yards, and that's Alvin Kamara.
Ooh, but he gets a lot of receiving yards too, as well.
2 or 3?
He gets a lot of receiving yards, but
yeah. Well, I mean New Orleans offense might be right because New Orleans offense might change some without having Peyton there.
Jameis Winston has never had a defensive-minded head coach until this year. So I seriously think, the receivers are not going to get as much because they're all slot wide receivers. And so I think really you're going to get a lot of touches for Alvin Kamara and just have him run and run the ball. And I think really that's why Saints are my pick to win the division.
But see, I like your point there, but I got like kind of the same point with Indianapolis. Indianapolis doesn't really have a great receiving core. So I think they're going to ride the back of Jonathan Taylor a lot. So I think he's going to get a lot of touches.
Oh, I think so. Now you want my final take. First of all, I may have to go into NBA rehab because the NBA season's over, and you know how much I love the NBA. So I might have to go in hibernation for a little while. But I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with Watson, NFL wise. I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with Baker Mayfield. So those things have captured my interest. I'm going to start looking forward to the Major League Baseball. I'm start looking for hockey. But I think my take is that, it to me, it's great to be on you guys' shows. And, it makes me pay more attention to other sports besides basketball. So I'm looking forward to coming on your show, talking about other sports besides basketball. But I'm just anxious to see what's going to happen with this Watson situation, because that's going to be a big effect. You got the owners going berserk. They created a monsoon by signing to their guaranteed contract. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen in that situation. But that's my take. Just looking forward to see how the NFL is going to.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for some football.
Yes, definitely. I want to see if the NFL is going to be proactive or reactive. That's my take.
I'm ready for my final thoughts. I'm ready for the Major League Baseball All-Star game to get here. Not really not really to watch the All-Star game, but because the second half of the MLB season is always a lot more fun to watch because you're starting to get teams into playoff pictures starting to show. So I really like the second half of the season. Plus in the MLB playoffs. I love baseball playoffs.
Yeah.
But nothing compares to the NFL. So I'm ready for these couple months of baseball and then jump right into some NFL and hopefully watch the Colts win the AFC South this year.
I think they are.
I think they have a real good shot at it.
Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan will be all right. I think he'll at least be able to do what Carson Wentz was doing, and we should
Now,
have farther than what we did
one
last
thing
year.
about Matt Ryan though. Within this next 2 years, he could be the first NFL quarterback to lose to all 32 teams and win against all 32 teams.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. Wow.
No, I think he still has a couple good years left in him. So I think especially with the Colts defense and our offensive line and having Taylor, I think we have a good shot at the AFC South.
And you know something, he hasn't had no major injuries, if I'm correct. Has he?
I think he might have had one early in his career, but he hasn't had no major injuries here lately.
And that's key. And being healthy, that's obviously a big key.
But I want to thank everybody for joining the ASAP Afternoon Blitz today. I want to thank Nate for joining us, Mike for joining us again.
I want to thank your dad for joining us.
Yep. We'll have Greg. Greg should be back on Monday. Thoughts and prayers are with him. His grandmother passed away earlier in the week, so that's why he's been off this week. But he's going to be back on. He'll be back on Monday. I know Nate said he'll be here on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Yeah.
And then Mike, you're welcome to come on any day you want to come on at 1. Just let me know and I'll send you the link. But thanks for joining us. Don't forget, I will be live at 3 p.m. on the ASAP Sports Network with Easy Money, a sports betting show, and it's also on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch at Gonzo Sports Room as well. So come join us for that at 3. Like I said, me and Pride are going to break down the UFC. You have something, Nate?
Actually, I was going to say I was going to go, since I didn't go live this last Monday, I'm going to go live today for my show at right after yours is done.
Okay.
Wow, you guys are busy. I like that. Okay.
So, all right, I think so. Go check. So you're going to go live right around 4 or so then?
Yeah. So
all right, so make sure you go check out Nate's show around 4 o'clock on the ASAP Sports Network. You can find the Con Man on a bunch of different shows on the ASAP Network. he's kind of like me. He just bounces around all different shows. I do the same thing. Because I'm on Unscripted in the evening. I'm on all kinds of different shows. But hey, I enjoy it. Made some new friends doing this. Made some new friends doing it. And it's fun meeting new people. So
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you guys Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Have a good weekend and stay safe.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.